picked up his dad's head after it got decapitated, you're like, this is a defining moment in the galaxy.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Wednesday Night Gentlemen Multimedia Empire official podcast. You're listening to episode 51. On this show, we like to talk about comic books, movies, TV shows, video games, books, I guess, and political discourse. I am your host, Midget Radio. I am taking over host duties for Tactic Angel today. This is an all about Tactic Angel episode. I'm really excited for it. Tactic Angel, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. I put my hands up halfway through that intro, and I didn't make a sound because we are professionals.
Absolutely. So
Tactic Angel episode.
So how are we? How are you? How is this? Is it awkward for you being on the other side of this episode?
You know what's interesting is being asked this question twice.
Really? Is it?
It feels good. I'm gonna enjoy myself. I'm gonna have to say the second time that we did this, you did much better.
Really? Because I did it with a little more anger this time around.
I did feel the murderous socialist coming out.
Dear listener, if you're to let you in on the loop here, we recorded about a half an hour of this episode when my computer completely froze up. And we are now doing this all over again. And I'm excited to do it because, the only thing better than talking about Tactic Angel thing one time is doing it fucking twice.
Yeah.
So Tactic Angel, God damn it. This is when we talking about drinking. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking whiskey. I started drinking the first time Writer's Tears, and I am continuing to do so. I had to refill my glass. To be fair, we only lost about 20 minutes of content. There was about 20 minutes before that of just bullshit.
But that stuff is all gold. It's all fucking gold.
You know, we're printing our own currency here, so
it's really true. Well, same as you, I'm actually still drinking the Larceny, which will probably, I don't know. It's probably a sign of things to come. So on today's episode, we are talking about Beauty and the Goddamn Beast. We're talking about it twice. Originally,
do you want me to describe this?
No, I'm going to describe it.
You are so angry.
Originally, this movie was released in 1991 when Tactic Angel was 112 years old. Disney at that time made a movie that was not about laser swords, nor was it about Marvel Comics, which I couldn't believe. With a voice cast ranging from Angela Lansbury to a bunch of people that Tactic Angel apparently likes, but that I've never heard of before. This
Paige
movie,
O'Hara? Oh, yeah.
Paige O'Hara, really? I mean, the O'Hara sounds familiar, but probably not because of anybody that I've ever actually heard of.
Robbie Benson?
I don't know. Benson, that was a TV show, I think.
Richard White.
I know Walter White, but not Richard. Maybe that's his brother.
Probably. Sounds related.
Beauty and the Beast is a fucking cartoon about a rageaholic who imprisons and attempts to starve a girl until she makes him a man. And Tactic Angel thinks this is the best movie ever made. Tactic Angel, why is that?
Because it is the best. I enjoy this movie because it has good pacing, an enjoyable setting, and it has a lot of very memorable songs and very evocative imagery that stuck with me since I first saw the movie.
God damn it, that is not enough for me. I know that we've talked about this twice, and it's still not enough. I don't understand what separates this movie from the other Disney animated movies that are also full of wide-eyed spectacle and wonderful musical ditties that have positive stories that have happy endings. Why is Beauty and the Beast like more interesting? And why does it stand out more to you than Aladdin or The Sword in the Stone or Snow White or Dumbo or any of those other movies?
Well, I enjoy the setting. So we're kind of in Renaissance France.
Okay.
I enjoy the main character, who is Belle, and Belle is a standout sort of character among Disney princesses. She manages to be competent and smart and nice and all of the things that you would want in a person, in a partner, in a woman, and somehow manages not to be a Mary Sue.
Okay.
We also have, I mean, you can say that there are downtimes in most, when I say downtimes, I mean unhappy moments in a lot of Disney movies. But I feel like this one actually, it does a couple of things that a lot of Disney movies do in a way, but it does it particularly well. I want to talk a little bit about Belle as a character.
Okay, great. Because I'm going to ask you about that.
Belle is an intellectual young woman. She's, attractive, but more so interested in books and learning, and she's fascinated with reading and all that good stuff. She loves her father. She goes looking for a father, throws caution to the wind, and basically sacrifices herself to be prisoner to this beast in order to save her dad, which is like step one, good person points. She's getting them there.
Okay. All right.
Because she is, she's definitely cold to the beast at first, but then as things progress, you can kind of see a change in both the beast's behavior to her and her being willing to try to empathize with the beast, right?
Sure. Okay.
Eventually leading to the point where, the two of them are basically friends. And even though she's, prisoner, he gives her the magic mirror.
Right.
And she sees that her father is like, holy shit, in trouble. Actually, I skipped a part because she tries to, she's in the East Wing. She's not, or the West Wing. She's not supposed to be there. She's
right.
Gonna fuck with the rogues, and she runs away. And this is a great scene, and this is actually one of my favorite scenes in the movies because the beast is like, he does a very valiant thing in fighting off the wolves,
like 100 wolves. Like 100. I was really surprised at how gigantic that wolf pack was. It was like huge. 5. It was like a fucking army of wolves.
So he fights off the thing, and like you have like this really interesting shot where she has her hands on the back of the horse, and she's about to hop up and mount it, and like she has this thing where it's like, it's honestly, it's kind of a Star Trek thing, because it's like, even though this person,
that was a question on the list. It was a question on the list. How does Star Trek figure into this fucking movie?
So, Star Trek, unless you're talking about being a murderous psychopath, which is what Discovery is all about.
That's true.
Usually emphasizes morality and doing the right thing, even unto your enemies. And she looks back at the beast, and she knows this is a person who, though he has kept me captive, he just did save my life, and I have an obligation to help him.
Wow, interesting. Okay, so this stuff, these character moments for Belle really kind of resonated for you. It sounds like.
Yeah,
interesting.
So then we take it forward to where I was. He gives her the magic mirror. She sees that, her father's, in trouble. And she's like, I have to go. And he has a nice character moment where he's like, I have to let this woman go because I can't just keep her. I mean, I would hate myself for not letting her do this.
Right.
And so she goes, then Gaston gets the mirror and, oh no, they're going to go kill the beast. And she feels like this intense obligation to go back and try to help. Even though, again, she's running straight into the mouth of the lion. And yeah, then you have a kick-ass fight scene. The movie ends.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was kind of kick-ass, I guss. All right.
It's a kick-ass fight scene.
Okay.
I love that fight scene.
Great. That's great. This is good substantive stuff. All right, then. So now I kind of understand then where you're coming from. It's interesting to me in that it sounds like the appeal is actually from Belle's character more so than the beast, which is not something I would have anticipated.
Well, I mean,
it's interesting.
the beast is a reasonably interesting character, but he has a lot less to do with what drives people to really love the original Beauty and the Beast. So many times what you see nowadays let's just talk about for a moment the difference between Belle and Ray.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Belle is a character who is intensely likable.
See, all right, I have to push back on that a little bit, right? Because I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe it resonates with some people, but the whole this provincial life is bullshit, and I just want grand adventure and all of that crap. That doesn't seem a little bit snobbish to you?
It doesn't, because it's a person who's like, I have all this, and I guess she does call all the people little people, but I think it's because it fits into the lyrics very nicely.
Yeah.
What she really is a dreamer, and being a dreamer is really a very human thing.
Yeah.
And she wants to be the best person that she can be. She doesn't want to be held back by her situations. And I think that's a good message.
Okay.
If you're stuck in a place that holds you down, do everything you can to expand your horizons. She's reading books. She's, taking in these adventures in her head and maybe even creating sort of the world that she wants to live in her own imagination. But you can clearly see that that's led her to be a good person and led her to be intellectually honest and all the good stuff.
Yeah, and she's considered kind of a weirdo and an outcast for being a reader and for not wanting to marry Gaston. So I get it.
What she isn't is she isn't imbued with a ridiculous amount of just supernatural ability.
Right.
She didn't grow up on a desert planet and knows how to swim.
Yeah.
She's never been
that was the big
behind
issue.
the wheel of she's never been behind the wheel of a freighter, but as soon as she gets in it, she can pilot it better than Han, who has owned the goddamn freighter for 40 years.
Okay.
She picks up a weapon. She's immediately proficient with it.
Yeah.
She beats both a Sith Lord, and I guess they don't call him a Sith Lord. Well, fuck you, anybody who cares about that distinction.
True. But she's rolling 20s all the time, which is...
And she beats Luke Skywalker. She can understand Wookiee, having probably never met a Wookiee.
Yeah.
She isn't likable, and she's far too talented. So Belle's goodness doesn't come from the fact that she's super good. When the Beast gets messed up because he fights, a whole army, 200,000 wolves,
at least
right?
that many. Yeah, at least that many. I was like, God damn, dude.
Yeah,
It was
legions
amazing.
of wolves.
It was amazing.
So he fights all these wolves. What does she do? She barely gets him onto the horse, and there's a struggle there, and that kind of actually makes it more heroic what she's doing, because like it is difficult. Doing things that are hard is rewarding.
Right.
Being perfect at everything automatically is fucking lame.
Yeah, it's boring. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of the difference. A lot of the characters that came before Belle were just pretty faces that were desirable for being pretty faces.
Yeah.
You talk about the girls that came after Belle, and you get into Jasmine and all the others. I can't remember anything about Jasmine
No, neither do I.
than that she wore like the genie pants.
Yeah.
And
Blue.
she had a hair in her
blue,
a hair braid thing,
Yeah.
like a ponytail.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
I think that she is significant. She's a standout character for managing to walk up to that line of being almost idyllically good without being a Mary Sue.
Right. Okay. Okay. I like that answer. All right. So then I guess that kind of explains why this movie stands out for you. So the thing you're angry about, the thing that's triggering, I guess, for Tactic Angel a little bit is this remake of the film starring, what's her name? Is it Emma Watson?
Emma Watson.
So
as Belle.
what are the failings of how does this film fail to live up to the 1991 animated classic?
So the movie fails on almost every level that you possibly can.
Okay. That's a lot of levels.
It is. I will say, in all fairness, when you cast Paige O'Hara as Belle, or Robbie Benson as the Beast, or Richard White as Gaston,
Right,
or
absolutely
Angela Lansbury
amazing
even as Mrs.
talents.
Potts,
Yeah.
like these are people who can legitimately sing, and their presence in front of a camera is immaterial to the quality of the film,
Okay.
right? Because they're just talking like you and I are talking now. Nobody can see the weird things that I'm doing with my hands. No one can see
that's
you.
a weird thing to refer to at this point, but okay.
Well, I actually am talking quite a bit with my hands because I've been drinking, but
Oh, boy. Let's keep going.
I'm still wearing pants. So anyway, for now, but
talking about Belle. All right.
but you get
This
people like
whole
Emma Watson
soliloquy
and,
practically to Belle.
you got Emma Watson as Belle. You've got Dan Stephen who plays the Beast.
Yeah.
Luke Evans plays Gaston. Now let's talk just a little bit about why it's unfair to compare, particularly Richard White, who was absolutely amazing as Gaston.
Oh yeah.
To Luke Evans, who, I mean, honestly, who has the physique of Gaston?
Yeah. Well, every time I saw Gaston, I was like, I feel like Nathan Fillion could do this fucking role if it was live action. Like, I kind of want to see Captain Mal. He's got enough of the pomp, I think, for Gaston.
I mean, honestly, if you put him in like a prosthetic suit so that he was like ripped, because he's a little bit pudgy.
Oh yeah, he's got to tone it down a little bit. I mean, goddamn.
But like, if you gave him like Schwarzenegger pecs,
sure,
that were like glue on,
yeah,
absolutely, I would have loved to see that. But like, I mean, when you look at Luke Evans, I think he's a fine actor. I mean, not great, but he's okay. But he's so small compared to how you think of Gaston. And they don't compensate for this by doing any of the classic tricks that we're used to in movies, like prosthetics, like
Right.
place, foreshortening, like filming them a little bit closer so that I can't see like waist down, and having Gaston just stand on a box.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Like Tom Cruise. Yeah.
Yeah. You just make him look bigger.
Yeah.
And more impressive. And like that would have done a lot for that. They don't do any of the easy things. They have their CGI, and CGI is sort of fine. It's a little uncanny valley quite a few times.
Well, yeah.
Well, they tried to make the Beast look a little bit more human,
Okay.
and then it just starts to get weird.
Okay.
I don't know. He kind of creeped me out.
Actually, one of the things I liked about the animated one was that he was kind of like a giant lion, like a little bit of a lion and like maybe a bear or something.
I was thinking kind of maybe like a lion plus a bison. Like
yeah,
an American
I could see
buffalo.
that. I could see that. But I liked in particular that he would walk around on all fours. Because that was kind of creepy and very animal-like, and immediately kind of alienating. I just thought that was a nice touch for the animated movie.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Also, I mean the live action version is a movie that is keenly aware that it is copying a classic. And it goes to a lot of lengths to appear to be copying a classic, but then it throws new shit at it in a way that makes you think, I really just don't understand what made the original so good.
Okay.
And a lot of that is character.
Yeah.
And some of it's also that they tried to add, I guess, like 3 musical numbers.
Oh, did they? Oh, interesting. Okay.
I can give you an impression of one of them sounds like.
Is it going to be loud? Do I need to turn down
No,
the
it's going to be like this.
recording?
I'm a sad boy, and I'm going to turn into a beast.
Oh, wow, that sucks.
Because I'm sad boy.
So is
My
he kind
dad
of like
didn't love me?
fucking emo a little bit in this movie? Because I liked in the animated series or the animated film, I liked that the Beast was kind of a fucking like. I mean, he needed to be in like anger management a little bit. I really enjoyed that aspect of his character. Is he kind of a pussy in the live action movie?
A little bit, but also the issue is you get kind of into the modern political bullshit virtue signaling.
Okay.
Because there is the definite sense that the people who wrote the remake are intimately familiar with the concept of toxic masculinity.
Okay.
Because they go into enough depth that you get the impression that the Beast's mother, now granted, you don't know a fucking thing about the Beast's mother because you have only seen the animated version.
Yeah, I think that
'Cause
kid
it's-
is an orphan, apparently. I don't understand how it works. Lives in a castle with a bunch of servants, but
So the Beast's mother is a great person.
of course.
And the Beast's father is a fucking tool bag.
Okay. Interesting.
And his father's overbearing, so he ends up getting all of his father's negative traits times 2 or something.
Okay.
And that's why he's
Oh,
a
man.
bad person.
That's
Also,
sorta
they
fucked
make
up.
rather than making Maurice, Belle's father, the inventor,
Uh-huh.
he's actually just like a regular old clocksmith sort of guy.
What?
And
Why?
she has invented at the beginning. Belle is the inventor.
Oh,
Belle has
no.
invented a washing machine.
I can see why this is very triggering to Tactic Angel right now. That's fucking terrible.
then you get into, well, we have to explain why Belle's mother's not around.
Oh,
and it's
no.
just like, why? What purpose? Like, imagine in the middle of, or right after they sing something there, you know, I think there's something there that wasn't there before.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Imagine a 5-minute scene where two people stand in a room and talk about Belle's mother dying of the plague.
Oh, the plague. What the fuck?
And you're like, wow.
Sounds way better.
If you want to go back to what I said earlier, you fucked the pacing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like the original movie, I know you don't like musicals because we've recorded this twice now.
That is true. Oh God. I like 3, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, they're not
they're musicals.
the musicals that you would expect.
They're fucking musicals. Anyway.
Yeah. But you can immediately tell, if I just tell you that, you can tell that the pacing's fucked. The pacing in the original Beauty and the Beast, it gets you through the plot pretty good without feeling like way too fast or way too slow.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure. Yeah.
It moves at a decent chop.
Yeah.
And it doesn't throw a lot of curveballs at you that are not out of left field curveballs, but you know, you have plot developments that are exciting and interesting-ish.
Sure.
Throw in that scene after the Beast gives the mirror to Belle. You have another like, I'm a sad beast because my girlfriend went back to town.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking bad.
Okay.
So like that's another one of the emo songs that he sings. And it's just obnoxious, the stuff that they added, and I'm not even to the part where they have completely fucked the characters.
Okay.
I don't know if you want me to go into
No, that sounds like the substance. Yeah, I'm more interested in like the substantive differences between the animated film, because again, like the animated movie doesn't really do anything for me. You know, it's fine. But it's interesting to me that you kind of have, it sounds to me like anyway, an affinity for Belle's character in particular. So I'm interested to hear how she's totally fucked up in the Emma Watson version.
Okay. I don't think that Emma Watson by any stretch of the imagination is the worst part of this. I think maybe some of her politics slipped into the making of this film.
Okay.
But I don't think that she herself on screen really did a bad job in many identifiable ways. I don't think she's the sort of vocal powerhouse that O'Hara was, but I mean, she also has to stand in front of the camera and look pretty and hit all of her blocking.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's more to what she has to do than what any person has to do when they're just singing the lines behind a microphone. First of all, maybe I'll ask a question.
Okay.
Because you haven't seen the second movie.
No.
and as I've explained it, you've seen the first movie. At any point did you think, where is Belle's mom?
No. You know, interestingly, no, I didn't. I did wonder that about the Beast almost the entire way through, but no, I did not wonder that about Belle.
Did you wonder why doesn't Maurice love his daughter?
Maurice? Was
Maurice
he the candle?
Is Belle's father.
Oh. No. What?
There's no sense in the original film that Maurice doesn't love his daughter.
No.
Is what.
Well, I mean, it's pretty clear, right? Like, he totally fucking, like, as soon as she finds him imprisoned in the Beast's castle, he's like, get the fuck out of here, right? I don't want you to worry about me. Yeah, I mean, all of that's pretty clear. Like, their relationship is pretty fucking clear.
So, like, this is a weird turn of events that, like, after you have, Belle's intro, Belle's theme, little town.
Oh, yeah.
Little quiet village.
Yeah.
All that stuff. You have a scene where John Klein and Emma Watson sit and talk for probably 3 minutes about inventing nonsense.
Okay.
And like, oh, your mother would want this and that and whatever. And it's like, oh, wow, they've really opened up this mother subplot. Turns out mom died of plague.
Right.
Got to have a scene where you're magically teleported by a fucking book to Paris so that you can see, oh, this is where I used to live with my mom and dad.
Okay.
And it's a plague mask. She must have died of the plague. They left the mask here and all of our other possessions. They took away the plague-ridden body, though.
Huh.
I mean, because you don't want Skeletor starring in your children's film, I guess.
Right. And I don't. But this may get her to dance too. That's gonna be pretty scarring. Anyway.
That's more about how fucked the pacing is.
Okay.
Describe the Enchantress in the original film.
Oh, she was like an old hag bitch, right? And then she's like a blonde angel.
Okay.
That's it. Kind of a bitch. Seems like kind of a bitch to me a little bit. But
that was kind of in like the first, what would you say, minute?
Yeah, maybe.
And that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what happens in the event that the Beast doesn't fall in love with somebody who in turn loves him back?
He's going to be a beast. But what was pretty shitty, I thought, was like everybody else is fucked too, right? That guy's going to be a clock. This dude's going to be a fucking candlestick too. That sucks. Okay. It's like, what did they do? Anyway.
Okay. Now we're going to make a slight alteration.
Okay.
Instead, the Enchantress is a present character who is in the entire movie.
Oh, man. I'm really glad I didn't watch this movie because, man, like, I really have a hard time with musicals in the first place. And, like, to try to watch 2 musicals in a row, probably, holy shit. That sounds awful.
I have one second alteration to the plot.
Okay.
If the Beast doesn't fall in love with somebody, he gets to stay a beast, but everybody else fucking dies.
Okay. So I have to admit, I kind of like that, but because it's just awful. Like, because it is absurd. Like, that's so bad, it's kind of crossed over into good a little bit for me.
Okay. Now imagine that this was Star Trek and they were remaking Wrath of Khan.
Okay.
And they did something similarly stupid.
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast is not Wrath of Khan territory for me.
So he stays a fucking beast, but the servants, all those other fucking people,
the servant,
all
the
die.
Fucking dog.
The dog fucking dies. So wait, so in this movie, because I was gonna ask in the live action movie, like, is the dog a fucking ottoman, and the dude's a candlestick? Like, is that all still the case in this live action movie, or are they something else?
Yeah, they pretty much stick with the same stuff.
Interesting. Okay, interesting. So they all fucking die. That's insane, man. What? Like, I thought that Enchantress was kind of a cold-hearted bitch in the first place, just in the animated movie. She's a bloodthirsty psychopath in this one.
Okay. Let's take a little bit of a detour through Gaston.
Okay.
We both kind of love Gaston because he's kind of a badass.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a terrible person, but
yeah.
I mean,
while I was watching it, I thought of you, and I was going to ask you if you, like, one day, eventually get married, will you please promise me to already have the wedding set up before you ask the girl to marry you? Because because
What?
that is the biggest, most fucking pimping ass thing I've ever seen in a movie. I love Gaston just for that. Like, he didn't even ask her. He had it all ready and set to go. And he's like, I'm just going to walk up in that bitch's house and tell her we're getting married and I'm going to take her outside. And that's exactly what the fuck we're going to do. Like,
That
he's
would
got
be
the
pretty
band
funny.
ready. That was amazing. Everybody's there. The fucking food's ready to go. What a pimp, man. What a pimp.
I'm not going to promise that. That seems like an expensive wager.
I wish you would. I wish
Also,
you would.
you would have to be invited.
I'm fucking ready. I will absolutely show up for that.
Okay. What is this short transistor man doing it? Anyway, so Gaston.
Yes.
Totally an asshole, but kind of a badass in
Yeah,
the same
totally.
sense.
Kind of lovable, like, yeah.
So Gaston is introduced to us as a little bit dumber and more bumbling than he was in the original.
Okay.
There's sort of an out of place joke, and I will admit that I found this to be funny. He's describing Belle, and he says she has a sort of je ne sais quoi, and then LeFou says, "What does that mean?" And he says, unironically, "I don't know."
That's funny. Yeah.
It is funny. Actually, I think that's right after he is introduced by, I think his opening lines are, "You're the most beautiful person I have ever seen. No one deserves you." And then it zooms out and he's talking to a mirror.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Okay.
But, so, like,
I did like when he was talking to LeFou in the animated movie, and he's like, "She is the most beautiful girl in town," which means she's the best.
it is a little on the nose.
It is. It's funny.
So we have that Gaston is a self-obsessed jerk. In this case, we've turned that up to 11.
Okay.
He's also a little bit dumb. And then when Maurice comes back with news that Belle has been kidnapped and she's being kept in a magical castle by a beast.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
What does he do? He's like, "Okay, Maurice, take me there."
Okay.
They set off into the woods. Maurice can't seem to find how to get back to the to the castle, and Gaston loses his temper. At this point, he has to be kind of talked down by LeFou, and LeFou says to him, "Think of the good times. Think of going to war. Think of all the blood and the death and the widows."
Oh, wow. Okay. So he's like a barbarian a little bit. Like, that's how you would talk down Conan, I guess.
And he says, like, quietly and in a certain sense of reverie, "Oh, the widows," or something like that.
Okay.
So,
yeah. All right.
So
okay.
now he's kind of a bloodthirsty person who takes advantage of women who are in their lowest state.
Yeah.
So we're making him even less likable.
Yeah, it's unnecessary because in the animated, it's just like he's a hunter, right? So you'd be like, think about the time you take down a big boar or something like that. You know, that would make sense. But now,
Then he gets-
all right.
Then he manages to get mad at Maurice again in a hair trigger sort of way. And he ties him to a tree in the middle of a wolf-infested forest with the full-on admission that he expects that Maurice will be killed and eaten by wolves.
Okay.
Maurice manages to get out of this because he is taken in by what appears to be a woman who lives in the forest. The woman who lives in the forest helps to nurse him back to health enough that he can walk back into town. Maurice accuses accuses, in the presence of this haggard woman, Gaston, of trying to kill him.
Right.
And he's like, she will tell you that this is the case. And then Gaston's like, that bitch is ugly. Nobody will believe her.
Okay.
Which may meet his character, particularly if you've amped him up this much.
Sure.
Here's the plot twist. That haggard woman
Yeah.
is the enchantress.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I was guessing. All right.
If you take this in big picture context, what this essentially means is that this enchantress is views more seriously a person who failed to give her essentially free room and board for a night, that is a worse crime than the attempted murder by being eaten alive by wolves.
Okay, so she doesn't do anything. You're telling me, basically.
Fucking nothing to this guy. She doesn't even speak up and say, yeah, he did it or anything like that. She's just like, oh, I'm ugly.
Are you serious?
And I'm not joking. She sentences in this film the child of a person who cooks tea for a person who failed to give her room and board for the price of a single flower to death.
Yeah.
Rather than visit any sort of retribution on an attempted murderer.
Maybe she like has some regrets. She's like, I was a little too harsh the first time around.
But I can't bring myself to go back and fix it.
No, I don't know. It's too much work. I don't know. It's too hard. Go back.
So like the fact that she's in the movie fundamentally changes like how this movie plays out. You're just like, first of all, the pacing's fucked. And I've got these boring fucking scenes of people talking to each other about widows and tying each other to trees and your mother died of the plague and this other nonsense about I'm a sad panda because my girlfriend left me.
Yeah.
I have tons of time to think about this because now we're like in a J.J. Abrams movie that has like 5 intermissions.
Yeah. Wow. That's so, it's weird. I wonder what the decisions were behind, because it's like, one, Belle's character doesn't really, I don't think, need any fleshing out, and I don't think the dead mother really adds fucking anything at all to her character. You could argue, I think that most obviously with the animated film, the Beast of all the people in this movie could probably use the most fleshing out, and it sounds like that kind of happens, but it happens in a really like trite. It sounds really fucking trite. He's got this like angelic mother and this piece of shit father, and like it's an obvious way to go. A way that it's probably more interesting if you just leave all of that fucking out.
Yeah. No, I mean I agree, and it's hard to get away from kind of the sense that this movie is man hating a little bit when you. I mean I don't want to accuse it out and out of doing this, and that's not specifically the reason why I disliked it. What I disliked is why in the world is the enchantress in this movie?
Yeah,
that fundamentally changes it. And Gaston is an even bigger asshole to the point where he actually starts like he's moved from like neutral character to not a likable character back to he's kind of so cartoonish that he's likable in the cartoon.
Yeah.
And then he's gone further than that, where he's just like, this is just stupidly despicable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if I were, I don't know, if I were ordering bad qualities at a Chinese fast food takeout and they kept saying, and then I just keep piling on the negatives of Gaston. And here's the here's the fucking messed up part. Do you remember how Gaston died in the animated movie?
Yes. Yeah. So he's fighting the Beast. Beast like has him by the fucking neck, and he's holding him over a ledge. And Gaston turns into a totally whimpering pussy at that point. Beast basically like lets him go, and he's climbing up the fucking roof toward Belle. And suddenly Gaston appears behind the Beast, stabs him.
Literally stabs him
in the
back.
fucking back. And as a result, essentially loses his balance and falls to his own death.
Well, the Beast recoils back, right?
Yeah.
And he falls to his death. So in the grand spirit of I don't know. I don't even know. What happens in this one is not all that dissimilar, except that the Beast, I don't think, ever spares Gaston. And Gaston is just like standing on a ledge, and he's like aiming his gun over at the Beast. And then the ledge just collapses and he dies.
Oh my God.
You gave this guy who is significantly less likable a significantly more indirect death.
Yeah, a meaningless, I would say, death. Because the fact that me. That's the fact that he attempts to kill the Beast is what led to his own demise. Like, that's what got him killed. This shitty fucking cowardly move that ended up killing him. And in this, it sounds like it's just random, that wasn't the right place to be standing, I guess. Like,
oh God, it's so fucking bad.
Tactic Angel, you bastard. I'm almost kind of mad at you that you expected me to watch the animated Beauty and the Beast and then this fucking train wreck right afterwards. There's no way.
Like, well, I think you said something like, which one should I watch? And I said, you should watch the first one.
That's what I watched.
If you want to have a good time.
That's what
because the second one is like, if you watch the second one and you were going into it with, I mean, like, honestly, if you didn't love the first one, you might go into it and just say, yeah, it's a bad film. Yeah. But it's like, you wouldn't understand all of the things, all the subtle little tweaks that you can make that make the story not work.
Yeah.
It's like, take the nicest car in the world and then let all of the air out of two of its tires and then drive it.
Yeah.
It's
so weird. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a lot of the things they changed, a lot of the additions they made, and the things that they tweaked were largely pretty fucking tone deaf to the original film. Which I mean, God damn it, like I don't really care about that movie at all. But it's so I guess in a way it's almost all the more surprising that, like, you fuck up because it's pretty basic. It's pretty straightforward stuff, right? It's not complicated. Belle's like self-sacrifice when she assumes the position of the prisoner in place of her father. The fact that she sees this fucking animal save her life, and rather than ride off into safety, turns back to try to save his ass. I mean, that seems like basic stuff. And then, of course, Gaston's character, that it's his own sort of, like, it's interesting in the animated film in that it's a cowardly insecurity that fuels his decision to attack the Beast, and to do so by stabbing him in the back, and that's the thing that gets him killed. I mean, that's fucking the definition of poetic justice, and it's just it's surprising to me.
Oh yeah, it's so, I mean, honestly, it's so on the nose. And then you just look at that as the person who's rewriting that, and it's like, I don't get it.
I think it would be better if the ledge fell out from under.
He's just writing down notes, and it's like, Gaston died.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Like, there's a part of you that looks at this and you're like, well, you fucked up the tone, you fucked up the characters, you've made Belle a little bit more of a Mary Sue. She's not she's not all the way there, but you're like, why do you need to take that away from Maurice?
Yeah, it's completely unnecessary. It's an unnecessary aspect of her character. All she needs to do is be interested. Like it does. It's weird. It's like doubling down on the things that made her interesting in the animated film, which is almost completely unnecessary. I mean, it's just totally unnecessary. Now she's a fucking super genius too. Like, what does that add to her? Like, what other dimension does that bring to her character? None. It's just doubling down on the same thing. She's smart.
Yeah.
She's intelligent. She's bright. You know, she's the one who discovered the speed of light. Like,
here's another strange thing. Before you get to, there's something there that wasn't there before.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've mentioned this specifically in our re-recording, but all of the music in the original is pretty memorable. It's hit after hit after hit. It's all pretty well written.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess to repeat myself again, as someone who kind of hates musicals, and doesn't particularly have much of an affinity for most Disney animated stuff. I was surprised at how many of those goddamn songs I recognized. So yeah, clearly they are, clearly they have had an impact on the culture.
Oh yeah. So in this one, in the animated version, the Beast thinks he's going to do something really nice for Belle because he learns a little bit about her character, and he takes her to
the library. Yeah.
The library. In this one, he basically shows up at the library and she's like, I like books. And he's like, cool, you can read these if you want. And it's
the fuck? It's
just like, God, what a fucking idiot. All of the men in this movie are idiots.
Yeah. Interesting.
Maurice can't invent anything. The Beast's father's a fucking asshole. Oh, look, you like books? Well, there are books over here. I'm the most beautiful person that you've ever seen, says Gaston. Okay, now, if we were to talk about Gus Van Sant, right? He remade Psycho, right?
Yeah.
Shot for shot remake.
Yes.
And there's an interesting thing about doing that, and I don't think it's particularly artful, but a shot-for-shot remake of this movie as real human characters, probably starts to sound a lot better than what I'm describing here.
Well, yeah, of course. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Interesting. The elements that were brought in to this live action movie. They don't appear to make a lot of sense.
There's some other. There are a lot of little pet peeves, and I didn't want to mention this at the beginning because they do. Like you had asked, I think in the previous recording, or maybe it was this recording. It's hard to tell.
I've been
drinking these writers' tears.
I'm straight out of the larceny right now, just right out of the bottle.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So, is everybody the same character as they were in the original? And the answer is generally yes. And when I say that they all are going to die if this doesn't happen, you actually do see it happening because of how close they cut it.
Why?
The feather duster literally dies in the arms of the candelabra guy, Lumiere. And you're just like, what a fucked up thing.
Yeah.
This is a children's movie.
Yeah.
You can't kill the bad guy, but you can kill the 8-year-old kid.
Yeah.
He's literally he jumps towards the teacup kid.
Yeah.
He's jumping towards his mother who just dies. And you see him like falling, and it's like this slow-mo shot, and it's like, oh no, Chip's gonna die. He's gonna shatter into a billion pieces. And he just like transforms immediately before he hits the ground because it's like, oh, the magic's done.
Oh my God, what a stupid fucking movie. Why bring that in? I don't understand. Again, that's the same kind of stupid shit that would inform why Belle is this genius inventor now. It's just doubling down on stupid stuff. We're doubling down on her as being a genius, and now we're also going to double down on the consequences if Beast doesn't become a man because it's like more dramatic. That's so terrible. Terrible.
So they added a character whose name was Cadenza.
Oh, well, he sounds like he was probably needed. Sounds like
Cadenza was a piano, in fact, in this movie.
That's cool.
And this starts to get into, I don't understand why they felt the need to expand upon the universe. Because the opening scene of this movie that explains how the Beast was made, essentially, is like 5 or 10 minutes long.
Okay.
It's not just narration over, a pretty tune. It's, you see the guy, and the hag walks in and it's like, I give you this thing. And he's like, no. Asshole.
Yeah.
And then she's like, no, you really want to take this. And he's like, fuck off, hag. And she's like, nah, I'm beautiful. I've got the big sexy bosoms.
Yeah.
And you are a dog. And so like that all happens. And fuck. The thing is, like, you see them and they're clearly like 19th century French or maybe late 18th century French because they're all like way too gussied up and like way too into sort of the aristocratic lifestyle.
Okay.
Like they're over the top aristocratic.
Right.
They got makeup on. They've got the big powdered wigs.
Yeah.
It's trying intentionally to make the rich in this seem exceptionally garish.
Right.
And you contrast that with the end of the movie and suddenly they don't bother with any of the makeup. They do wear wigs maybe and
oh sure. Yeah.
But it's they're not all powdered up and all that stuff.
Right, they're
it's
all
like,
relatable people now. Yeah.
I kind of feel like what they're trying to say is that the rich are bad. It's like I don't think we needed this social commentary in this children's movie. You don't want to be a rich asshole. You want to be a less obvious rich asshole.
Yeah.
I just so Cadenza jumps on a person and plays a This is just me bitching as a person who likes history. He plays the funeral march or the funeral dirge of somebody written by Chopin.
Okay.
Right? That's the dun dun
yeah,
dun dun
blah blah blah
dun.
blah blah. Yeah.
Now, I thought it was funny because basically when the piano jumps on you, you're probably pretty well fucked.
Yeah.
Because pianos are heavy.
They are kind of heavy.
And you're probably going to die. And so he plays that. And you're like, yeah, that's funny. However, that music was not written until the 19th century.
Right.
Nobody's using a blunderbuss in the 19th century. Plagues were pretty much not a thing after the 17th century in Europe. So you're just like, what is happening with the timeline?
Yeah.
Like, also, we have to go to Paris. And because people who are watching this film are so fucking dumb if they like it, we have to put Notre Dame on the island where it's situated backwards, because if we showed the side that you could see from the vantage that they showed, people will be like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
It's like, why would the front door of a church open onto a river? That's
Take your boat to it.
dumb.
It's a nice church, you know.
The back of the church is on the
accessible to the river people.
yeah. Whole bunch of sea elves just come swimming up. It's like, let's go worship.
Pay the
Jesus.
respects to old Jeebus. Yeah. Brilliant.
I probably don't need to go into the other things. I think there was way too much made out of this whole LeFou gay nonsense stuff.
LeFou gate nonsense.
Gay.
Oh, gay. Oh, yeah, I could see that in the end. Yeah, when I was watching the animated movie, I was like, I bet like a modern interpretation of this would be that he wants to like do the butt on Gaston, or maybe have the butt done. I don't know.
Have the
butt done.
I mean, not sure if it's pitcher or catcher, but you're pretty sure they're playing ball.
Right. There's something there. There's something there that wasn't there before. Tactic Angel.
That's really clever. You get points for that.
Thanks, buddy.
But like they make a big deal out of it, and you're like, yeah, whatever. Like if you're a Star Trek fan, you don't give a shit about this because it's like, you get the Kirk Spock homoerotic nonsense every so often. Yeah. And you.
It's weird that Bones is never a part of that, right? I don't think I've ever seen Bones like make it kind of a trifecta there. I mean, it's never, but I never see him a part of it. Maybe he's too old. I don't know.
His name's Bones. Right?
Like it's like right there. It's right there for the taking.
No, I think it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
The point is, like, I feel like that was a big double fake to be like, look at all the people who are outraged about this. And it's like, there's really not that many people who are outraged. There's probably plenty of people who think it's dumb and unnecessary because it's dumb and unnecessary.
Yes. Yes.
But you watch the fucking film and you're like, I feel like this was just a cheap attempt to get people into the seats by saying, I'm an ally. I do all the good things. I go see Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
And I don't think they needed to do that because this the original Beauty and the Beast was and is undoubtedly a classic animated film.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I mean, whether or not you like it.
I don't get it, but yeah, it is. Yeah.
There are lots of people who really love it and who would have been interested in seeing this. Fuck.
Yeah.
A bunch of people saw the Jungle Book thing. Nobody gives a shit about Jungle Book.
Oh my God, I know. I don't get that either.
But people went and saw it because they're like, Jungle Book, you see the apes and the bear and Mowgli.
This kid, whatever the fuck. Yeah. I don't get it.
So people would go see that. Now, amp that up by, I actually like the original.
Yeah.
And you wonder, why in the world was this necessary? And I think it was basically to get people into a situation where they would not question how good this movie was. They would just have to go see it, and they would have to like it.
Really? I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
It's just
I think it's just market. Like, to me, it's just because it's certainly not unique to a Beauty and the Beast remake.
No, it's not. But you see a lot of this fake controversy and people saying, I don't want to see the original Ghostbusters or the new Ghostbusters because it looks like it's a pile of shit. And then people are like, somebody on the internet said they don't want to see the new Ghostbusters because women suck.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh.
It's gonna put butts in seats. That's all. That's all they're trying to do.
But that's what they're trying to do, and it's just fake outrage controversy.
Tactic Angel, God damn it, it's there to sell Tide Pods. We already had this conversation. We already fucking solved this problem. It's
just eat the fucking pods already.
No, I know. I absolutely get it. It's fucking shallow as hell. It's the commercialization of fucking outrage, the commercialization of morality and virtue and what's right and what's wrong. I mean, that's where we're at nowadays, and it's easy to do that on Twitter and Facebook. That's where it fucking lives. And it sells movie tickets and fucking TV shows. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's our fault. It's our fucking fault. It's our stupid fucking dumbass fault. Not you and me. You and I are right. It's everybody else in America, really. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. But it's people in general. But
everyone is the problem except for us. Yeah. Good talk.
You know I said before I wasn't sure how I felt about the larceny, but now I'm on board. So.
Oh, I'm glad that something came positive out of this episode for you.
Well, interesting. I'm satisfied. I was always kind of curious as to what you saw in the animated Beauty and the Beast that kind of stood out for you because as I think I mentioned earlier, no starships and maybe one robot. I think that's the math we settled on. Maybe one robot.
One clockwork, one clockwork and one log splitting device. Clockwork's really kind of like a magical golem. The log splitting device definitely is an automated machine of some sort, but without intelligence. Yeah. You put the two together, you're at about one robot.
Yeah, maybe not quite there, but you round up. And yeah,
I kind of feel like you're at like probably 1.16 parts of a robot.
Okay.
But
man, no starships, no space. But there is a Star Trek analogy, so I get that. There is a Star Trek relationship.
We did manage to get it in there somehow. And the bit about the writer's tears. Now you understand why I'm drinking the writer's tears.
Now I get it. Yeah. See, it does seem appropriate to me now.
It's not fucking Michael Burnham bad, but it's...
Well, that's a high bar, but...
Since we agreed that Michael Burnham is the worst character that has ever been in a TV show.
It's really hard to think of a worse character. It really is. I mean, she is the most self-centered fucking character I can think of. Right? Good God.
Well, if there's a more self-centered character, she's probably on like some made-for-TV version of Clueless.
But then like at the end of Clueless, right, she realizes
No, it'd have to be like an extra. And but you don't have to get 13 hours of that.
My God,
character.
it's brutal. Oh,
Can you believe how self-centered Josie is? It's like I can, because I've met Michael Burnham, and at least Josie isn't handing over planets to genocidal religious fanatics.
Yeah. Makes whatever. Star Trek.
We're getting way off.
Yeah, we are.
This is great. I love it.
So I know there's a way that we end these episodes. I don't quite remember. I don't remember how we do it. So I'm just gonna fucking wing it. No, because I'm the host, Tactic Angel.
You're the host?
I'm the host of this episode. So I think we're gonna call it here, right? Do you have anything else to say about Beauty and the Beast and the fucking train wreck of the, I guess, most recent version of Beauty and the Beast?
No, I just want to emphasize really that it's not a question of the faux outrage on this. I think that this movie fails in every way that it possibly can based on its own merit.
Okay. Well, with that, that has been episode 51, I think, of the Wednesday Night Gentlemen Multimedia Empire official podcast. Thank you all for listening. Please like us on YouTube or fucking Podbean. We're on there too. And leave a review. Leave a positive review. I don't have the stomach for negative reviews. Just positive reviews and thumbs up. Tell us we're geniuses. We already kind of know that we are. But again, thank you all for listening. And we'll see you all next time on episode 52 of this podcast.
Bye-bye.